Hello there and welcome to the Double Zero Challenge. We do just one thing on this channel, and that thing is to take these two D10 dice and see how long it takes before we can roll a double zero. Statistically, the odds are 1 in 100, but let's see what happens under real world conditions. If you do want to play along, please write down your guess now. However, all I ask is that you don't disclose the result in the comments. Let other people watch the video. There'll be a few more things to explain as we go along, so let's get cracking. Roll number 1. And that's a 4 and a 3. A 0, but a 5. Remember, it's only double zeros that count. We will take account of any other doubles, but that's purely for fun. Whoops. And that's a 3 and a 7. We have a 0, but a 9. Oops. And that's an 8 and a 4. And a 6 and a 3. And we have a double 5. That's the first of them to go downstairs, right on that row there. And that's a double 5 again. And that's a 5 and a 4 this time, just for a variation. I was going to rename it the Double 5 Challenge. Here, idea for a spin-off channel, I think. That is a double 6. Okay, fairly getting through these doubles. Let's give them a nice long rattle. And that's a 7 and a 1. Nice rattly cut, but the dice do like to jump out of it quite a bit. And we have a 2 and a 4. A 7 and a 1. And that's a 7 and a 1. A 0 but an 8. And that's a 4 and a 6. A 2 and a 6. And we have a 2 and a 5. And that's a 4 and a 7. That's a 5 and a 9. A 0 but a 1. That's a 6 and yeah, that is a double 6 in fact. And we have a 9 and a 5. And that's a 4 and a 1. And we have a 5 and an 8. A 0 but a 6. That's a 2 and an 8. And a 7 and a 9. Two and a 4. Seven and an 8. Shame it wasn't 6, 8. We could say, who do you appreciate? And that's an 8 and a 1. 3 and a 1 there. And that's a 4 and an 8. A 9 and an 8. and that's an 8 and a 7. And it's a double 4. Here we go. And we have a 3 and a 9. Oh, come on. These fingers aren't working. Come on. And that's an 8 and a 4. 5 and a 7. And a 5 and a 2. That is a 6 and a 9. And a 9. Just check that. 9. Oh yeah, double 9. There we go. Totally the wrong end of the scale, but it does go on the doubles row. And that is a double 2. Oh, mark that downstairs. Might as well. That's an 8 and a 5. And we have a 0 but a 1. Now, as we approach roll 50, every 50 rolls is a big one. Nice double hander. We really give the dice a good shake. You'll see that in just a moment's time. And that's 8 and 7. And that's a 1 and a 3. 8 and 4. That's a 9 and a 7. And the double hander 50. That is a 5 and a 6. So no double zero so far, but let us go on for 100 rolls, which statistically is the odds of rolling a double zero. And that's a 2 and a 1. That's a 7 and a 9. That is a 6 and a 6, is it? Yes, it is. I tell you what, whoever decided that 6s and 9s should be upside downs of each other should have been talked out of it. Anyway, no problemo. And that's a 0, but it's a 3. 0 is a 0 no matter which way up. And that is a 6 and a 9. Yes, it is. A 7 and 8. And we have a double 1, bringing us up to 9 doubles so far. That's a 0 and a 2. And a double 6. 10th double of the session. That's a double 8. That's the 11th. Double 1, bringing us up to 2. The dice gods like to have fun with us sometimes, and tonight is one of those nights. So let's see what shenanigans happen next. That's a 2 and a 1. That is a 9 and a 6. And we have a 0, but we have an 8. That's a 6 and a 1. That is a double 3. 13th double of the session. A 4 and a 5. And that's an 8 and a 1. We have a 3 and a 6. and that is a 6 and a 9. A 0 and a 6, and that's a 7 and a 5. Double 8, it's a 0, but it's also a 7. 5 and a 1, 5 and a 4, and that is a 0, but a 3. 1 and a 9, and that is a 4 and a 9. 9 and a 3, 2 and a 9, and that's a double 8, taking us up to 15 doubles. A 0, but a 4, and that's an 8 and a 7. We have an 8 and a 9, and that's a 7 and a 3. 1 and 9, and we have a 4 and a 3, and that's a 0, but a 3. A 0, but a 6, that's a 0, but a 3. 2 and a 3, that's a 0, but a 1. 7 and a 3, and that's a 3 and a 2. Not long now till roll 100 and the big roll. And we have an 8 and a 5, a 4 and a 7, a 0 but a 4, and a double 0 on the 99th roll. I love it. It's, yeah, that's good. I like it. It's a nice, would have been nice if it was 100, but it's 99, and that's, reminds me of ice cream. Anyway, on the way to these 99 rolls, we encountered 15 doubles, which is statistically higher, but then statistics really mean little in the real world when it comes to rolling dice and what have you. So excellent. Thank you so much for watching. You take care and roll on next time.